Good evening to all the attendees, hoping that all of you are in good health both physically and mentally during these tough times. I am Sebastian James of EC6B and a core of Mixed Signals.
And I'm Sandra Sam from CS4A, and we'll be hosting today's session. We would like to wholeheartedly invite each and every one of you present today to this interactive session. And we thank you all for giving us your time.
This is the 8th session under AlumConnect hosted by Excel 2020 in collaboration with Mixed Signals. Mixed Signals, the Electronics Club of MEC, aims to impart exuberance and zeal for electronics and elite fields among the students of electronics and communication engineering. We aspire to cater various needs that are primal to be addressed to keep in pace with the ever-evolving field of electronics. Various workshops, lectures, competitions, talk shows are organized by the association as part of its mission to empower the students with the latest cutting-edge technologies. Quintessentially, Mixed Signals knuckles down to dealing with basics of electronics to the peak of it.
Okay, now without any further ado, let's welcome today's guest, one of the proud alumnus of our college, Mr. Vimal Chacko. Vimal completed his bachelor's degree in electronics and communication engineering from Model Engineering College and is from the 2016 batch. He has worked with many reputed organizations such as ANSYS, Apache, and National Instruments. He is currently pursuing his master's in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Toronto, Canada. So, hello Vimal, how are you?
Good. How are you all?
I'm doing good. We're really pleased to have you here with us today, and we really thank you for giving us your valuable time. So over to you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I hope we all are well and staying safe. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Vimal. So just going through my background, I did my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, number 2, Kochi, in 2012, and I did my BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from MEC, and I graduated in 2016. Then I joined National Instruments in Bangalore as software engineer. I worked there for about a year and then switched to ANSYS as an application engineer in 2017. And after 2 years, I decided to do my master's, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in electrical and computer engineering from University of Toronto, Canada.
Thank you so much, Vimal, for that, and we would really love to know more. So for that, let's move on to the question and answer session. So Sebastian.
Could you share your experience on how MEC has structured and paved the way for your career?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like I was placed in National Instruments from the campus placement in MEC. So I'll just share like how the things in MEC has helped me for that. Like I was a biomax in 12, like in my 12th standard. So I was introduced to computer programming in the first year, and I really loved it like from the start. Like I found it interesting to solve questions and do some coding and like on my spare time. And also, like I started participating in some of the events in Excel, like mainly coding events, and that helped me increase my interest in coding, and that has helped me in like getting placed in NA as a software engineer without actually having a background in CS. So that is one of the first things. And apart from that, I was also interested in electronics as well. Like in my second year, Excel organizes like MEC labs. I don't know whether it's still there, but like in the second year students organize do some projects and present that. So that also increased my interest in electronics. So I started like participating in more events in Excel related to like coding as well as electronics events. And also like I try to I would say like if possible try to participate in tech fest from other colleges also, and like participate in the events. Like I had gone to GEC Trishur for Duty, their tech fest in my third year, and it was a really fun experience. And so all these actually like help me in my technical side of it, and for the managerial skills, like I had since I enjoyed like participating in Excel, like I wanted to help in organizing also. So in my final year, I had helped in organizing Extrinsity, which is an electronics event, and also in my third year, I had helped organize MEC labs. I was always also involved in IEDC as CFO. So all these help me in my managerial skills. So like these are some of the skills I learned in MEC, and which has helped me in my career.
How was your academic record while at MEC? And a bit more on the co-curricular activities that you were involved during your time at MEC.
Yeah. Um, so I had like 8.55 as my CGPA, and yeah, so the co-curricular activities I had mentioned some of them like I like participating in Excel events, and like I help organize also some of the events, and yeah, so also like I was interested in attending like events organized by like the associations in MEC, like mixed signals. Like I participated in events like wave cloning, City, and yeah, many of the events that were conducted, especially during the Excel time, and even some of the workshops that they had conducted. So uh, those really helped me actually in like mainly to increase the interest that I had in electronics and like coding and stuff. And yeah, also I had mentioned like I was part of IEDC, so uh, there also I was involved in organizing many of the events conducted by IEDC during my final year.
So are there any suggestions on what kind of projects we could be involved in while in college?
Yeah, for my mini project, it was like a location-based automatic speed limiter. It was an idea that I had, like, and we tried to implement it, and we were kind of successful in doing that, and it was a fun project to do. And for my final project, I did an FPGA implementation of multi-core processor for video enhancement. Yeah, it was kind of a tough project, but we somehow managed to get some output, and it was we learned a lot from that. So my suggestion would be to do projects like that are related to your field of interest. So like if you're interested in a field, do some projects that will be helpful in future for you. So also I would suggest like do projects other than your mini project and main project. Like find projects that you'll enjoy doing and like complete it whenever you get time in between your studies. It could also be to like participate in some of the events, like I mentioned, MEC Labs. I had done projects for MEC Labs and IBETO and Texas Instrument, like innovative design contest. So what I've noticed is like, especially in Canada and all, like I had gone to some job fairs to get a feel of it, and whenever I give my resume to a recruiter from a company, they'll always look at the project section, and they'll ask questions related to the project that are related to the field that they are in. So that's something that I've noticed, and so do projects that will help you in that in the future.
Okay, Vimal, from your LinkedIn profile, the word Toronto stands out. And it sounds so cool because we are familiar with Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious. Besides that, few of the heroes of deep learning, such as Andrei Karpathy and Ruslan Salakudinov, also studied at the University of Toronto. Could you share your thoughts on how you decided to pursue masters despite having worked for a few years prior to that?
Yeah, yeah. Toronto. Here. It's some people call it Toronto. So yeah, that's their slang of saying Toronto. Yeah. So I'll just start by, so for me, I was working for like 3 years, and then uh, I decided to do. I had like plans to do my masters, mainly because like I wanted a different educational experience. Um, so here, like, you have the ability to choose the courses that you're interested in, which it's not something that we experienced at MEC or even most of the institutes in India. And even if you can also choose a course totally unrelated to your field that you're currently doing. There's no restriction like that, and even you can audit courses like without like you can attend the classes without actually it coming in your transcript. So all those flexibility is there, and even the teaching itself, I felt it to be on a more practical side with more weightage on like assignments and projects rather than exams. Like some of the graduate courses, you don't even have any exams. It will be just a set of assignments and projects. So all these make learning experience totally different from what we have experienced in MEC, and that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to want to study abroad. Also, it gives you a different life experience, like traveling abroad alone. Like you're making new friends, you're living with roommates, working part time, making your own food, and managing your expenditures. So all these are a totally different experience, and it teaches you a lot of life skills. So these are like the main reasons that I wanted to do study abroad and an experience for myself. But it could also be like for others, it could also be for reasons such as like for settling abroad or for getting better job opportunities. Uh, but if you're doing it for those reasons, like while choosing a country or university for your higher studies, make sure that like there are enough opportunities in that field that you're interested in. Yeah. So for
Okay.
me, mainly it was the first two that I mentioned.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that, Sandra.
Yeah. Okay, so there are a lot of universities and courses that are offered abroad. So how did you pick a university and find a course that is the right fit for you? And how is the admission procedure like? So could you also
Yeah.
share with us how you prepared to get into university?
Yeah. So the application process are a very tedious process. So it's like uh, if you're planning to join in the fall session, like which comes in September, like the application deadline will be the December, almost the December of previous year. So now, and normally for universities, like you'll need a GRE score. Like GRE mainly tests on your English and math skills, and you'll need a IELTS or TOEFL score, which is like the language test, and you'll need letter of recommendations from teachers and or your managers at work, and you'll need a SOP, like statement of purpose, which is a like 1 or 2 page explanation of why you want to join the institute and what are your plans uh, and goals. So you'll need to get all these ready before the deadline. So you'll have to start preparing early. So for me, like I had planned to do masters only if I got into a good university because I already had a good job which I enjoyed doing, and like for me taking the risk of leaving the job and spending a lot of money for high studies was only justified if I got into a good university. So I only applied in like all the dream universities like Berkeley, UC Berkeley, UCLA, NUS Singapore, UT Austin, and of course U of T. So I knew all of them were a long shot, but yeah, I was okay working, continue to work, so I only applied on all these, and it was a long shot because I didn't, as I mentioned, I didn't have any publications or anything. But for U of T application, I had missed the in U of T there are two different master's programs. Like in Canada, there are two different master's programs. One is Master of Applied Science, which is a research-based master's degree, and there is Master of Engineering, which is course-based. So it misses the research-based MASc deadline, and so I applied for MEng, and thankfully I got it in fall of 2019. So, so my suggestion would be like to first decide on what field you want to pursue. So once you do that, you can make a list of universities that are famous for that field, and you can go through the courses and the courses that they offer, and like the research opportunities that they have. And if you're finalize on doing masters, like I'd suggest like do a self-evaluation of yours based on your scores and your achievements. And it's in the list, it's always better to have like a few dream universities and like a few universities that you have a chance of getting. And also you have like a few universities that you're sure you'll get in. So this will make sure that you'll have a backup even if you don't get into your dream universities. So also like do thorough research for the applications, like make a list of the universities and go through their courses and research opportunities and the scholarships and funding available. And also like different universities will have different application requirements and deadlines. So keep track of all this. And even the tuition fee for most of the universities abroad can be very high. So, but some might have scholarships and research funding that you can apply to. Like for example, in U of T, the research-based master's stream has like lesser tuition fee, and also like they give you research funding, which will cover your tuition as well as your living expenses. So try to get such information about the university, which will help make your decision easily. And also, as I mentioned, like there's a lot of things to be done. So start preparing for the applications as early as possible, so that you have everything ready by the time the application process starts. Also, one thing I've found helpful is to have be active on LinkedIn. Like you can actually reach out to people who are studying in the university, and as well as even for job you're applying to, you can reach out to people and ask for their you can clear your doubts and queries. Also, like if you keep your LinkedIn updated, there are also chances like where recruiters will approach you with job opportunities. So that's also something that I have found really helpful.
So the present scenario has badly affected employment. Keeping this in mind, how should one prepare for placements, more specifically the EC and CS students? Are there any specific areas we should focus on to secure a good placement?
Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer, especially like it's a very uncertain time. We can't be sure like how the job sector is affected and which all fields are affected in what all ways. So like even my friends who have graduated recently, they had mentioned like there were lesser job openings. But at least in Canada, like things are somewhat improving. But yeah, you can't say that for all of the all places. So it's surely more competitive now. So I think the only advice that I would be able to give is like to stand out in the job applications, like have put in more effort, especially now, and try to have like an impressive resume that will make you stand out. And like the first step in getting the interviews, like having a good resume. That's how they select the people for the interview. So if you have a good resume, you'll have a more chance of at least getting into the interview phase so that you can clear the rest. So, and as I mentioned, actively search for jobs on the internet, use LinkedIn to its max, and try to reach out to people and build the network that will help you in the future. Also, especially in case of MEC, one of the strengths is its alumni. So make the most of it. Like, all thanks to the organizers of this event. It's a very good example of how you can make use of your alumni. Like, you can reach out to ex-MECians in the universities or companies that you're applying to, and you can the LinkedIn will help you in that, in searching up people, and they'll surely help you out. And even after you pass out, like, there's a Yahoo group where people post their openings for like ex-MECians who post their openings from around the world. So make use of all these, especially in this time. Yeah.
Vimal, I would like to ask a follow-up question. So during this time while we are at home, we have really less choices. Few of the choices that I could think of were like the first choice was online courses. The second being doing some kind of software, hardware isn't that practical right now. Or the third one would be some sort of online internship, work from home sort of. Are there any other options, or are these just basically it for now?
Yeah. Yeah, online courses are one of the things, but like, even with online courses, I think whatever you learn in online courses, it's always like, the certificate actually is not that valuable compared to if you have a project related to it. Like, anyone can do an online course. Like, if you just complete the classes, you'll get the certificate. But to show that you learn from the courses is to do a project related to what you have done. So that will make sure that you convey that you understood what you learned, and they'll be able, even the people you're applying, like the job opportunities that you're applying to, they'll understand that you have understood what you have learned, and you have made something out of it. So that's something I would suggest you do more projects, and which shows your work.
Okay, so like projects over online courses and work from home internships.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sandra?
Yeah. Okay, Vimal, so a lot of us are confused as to whether we should go and study abroad. So that is a very big dilemma. So could you just compare, like, make a comparison of how your learning experience is abroad, like from the experience you got here?
Yeah. Like I mentioned, like I'll just take one of my courses as an example that I've taken. Like, I had done VLSI design methodology as a course in my first semester. So so there, after like all the classes, and like, it was mainly, there wasn't any exams, it was mostly assignments, which helped me understand most of the concepts, and then there is a final project. So in that final project, we actually used all the things that we had learned so far. So it was going through the whole ASIC flow. So we did like custom layout, we did place and route, and then like, by the end of the project, we had the chip ready to be taped out. So that is something which we have, like, although I had done like VLSI courses in MEC, like ASIC specific also, but like, that was, I had never got the whole flow from what I had learned. But here, like, doing the whole thing and getting the product and seeing how you use the things that you have learned is something that was really different for me, and I learned a lot from it. So like I can go on for with other courses also, but yeah, you get the idea how it's different from what we learned at like in Indian institutes. Yeah.
And you also did mention that staying abroad is also a completely different experience, like
Yeah,
because
it
you're
is.
on your own.
Yeah.
So on that note, we have come to the end of today's session. On behalf of everyone present here today, we would like to thank you, women, for this really informative and insightful session. And we really hope all of you enjoyed it as well.